Hello, Libby Langley here for another episode of Life in Business. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And if this is your first time, massive big double welcome because you found us, you're safe, you're here, we're looking after you, you've got me, I'm in your ears. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you've been here since the beginning, oh my God, I love you so much. Thank you. It's great. I hope that your business and your life is changing as a result of being here. So, what should we talk about today? Well, I want to talk to you about niching. Niching is something that puts the willies up people for sure, right? Because niching basically means getting specific, which is great, which is fine, it's all well and good. But the bit that puts the willies up people is cutting out everyone else. It's like, oh shit, but I can't niche that much because what about them over there? And one of them once worked with me, and it can be kind of a scary thing. However, I want to talk to you today about how it's like the best goddamn thing you'll ever do for your business. Okay. But first of all, it's worth me kind of talking about the different types of niching, because I think it's changed over the years. I would say absolutely it's changed. I mean, when I first started talking about niching, absolutely donkey's years ago, over a decade ago, right? It was very much, Sue's 52, Sue's 52 and she has 2 kids who are older now. She drives a Mini and owns a Labrador, right? It was very much kind of that sort of niching. And when if you're doing Facebook meta ads, Facebook or Instagram ads, then there is still an element of that to put in. It depends on the kind of ads that you do, but there is kind of still an element of that you have to do, like profile building. But niching is way more fun than that now. It's way better than that. And it just has I think it's just kind of changed. I don't know, or maybe we have changed, right? But over the years, it's got more subtle. And I think, certainly the way I talk about niching now, is that the niching's on you, right? So you're no longer talking to Sue, who's 52, necessarily. You're certainly not talking to someone's problems to solve them, because that's just, I don't know, I'm not mad keen on that. I know you're struggling with this. It's like, how about we just be a bit nicer to people? But the niching is you, right? The niching is you and your uniqueness. The niching is you and the way that you work with people. Niching is the way you deliver what you deliver to people. It's about you and how different and unique and maybe diverse or away from the norm that you are. And that's what's so beautiful about it, right? Because you don't have to kind of force any of that, because that's just you, and you just need to be aware of it. So I think it's much easier, and it's much easier to kind of shift your niche or change your niche completely, right? If it's you. So I've contradicted myself there, I realise that. But what I mean by that is, if you offer one thing and then you start to offer something different, people will still come with you because they've bought into you. They've bought into you as the niche, yeah? So it does make it much easier you kind of marketing yourself, and people will trust and know that you'll get them whatever results that it is that they need. It's not to say you never talk about what you do, right? Or how you can help people, or what you do supports them and does solve these problems for them, but you're just not kind of leading with that, right? I think it's way less salesy, way less uncomfortable, way less shoehorned in. You're not having to try so hard with it, right? You're just like, I do this stuff and it's really cool and I really like this, and I'm really nice too. So if that fits with what your ethic is too, then amazing, let's have a chat. Yeah, much easier than do you struggle with so and so, so and so, so and so? And it's like, I don't. I kind of just feel a little bit like maybe that kind of ship has sailed a bit. I think that certainly post-pandemic, we are much more, collectively, we're much more aware of how things used to be done. And that's not to say they were bad, right? At all. It's just that they don't work in the way that they used to because everybody's doing them. So when something stops being unique, it stops being, to a certain extent, it stops being interesting, but most importantly, you stop remembering who said it. Yeah. So could you tell me now, somebody who's selling an Instagram, a $27 Instagram program to get more views on your reels? Probably not off the top of your head, because there's hundreds of them, right? There's thousands of them. It's not specific, and it's not a niche, right? It's a niche in that they're talking about this specific thing, but it's kind of not, everything blurs into one, right? And what I want for you is for you to grow your business in the simplest and easiest way possible. And to do that, you've got to stand out a bit. But this isn't about necessarily dyeing your hair pink if you're really uncomfortable with that. It isn't about shouting really loudly. It certainly isn't about being an extrovert, because I am a huge introvert. So, I'm not going to tell you how to be an extrovert because I have no idea. It's not something I'm comfortable with. This is about just harnessing you and doing what it is that you do in the way that you like doing it to the best of your possible ability, and doing it more and more, right? But you can be you. You can be you once, you can be you 1,000 times. It's no different, yeah? So if you're kind of looking for what we're sort of trying to do here, what we're trying to achieve, what our objective is here, is to make you famous, right? And it's not necessarily screaming fans, Miley Cyrus? That's not even who I mean. Taylor Swift. God, see, I'm so out of touch with modern music. I've reached that age. I don't know where Miley Cyrus came from. But Taylor Swift, kind of famous, right? We're not necessarily looking at those heightened levels of not being able to walk down the street fame, but fame in your own niche, yeah, is superb. You want people to know you as the person for XYZ, or preferably just X, right? Because we just want one thing, but because we're niching, but to be the person, yeah? And that's the fame that we're talking about here. That's the niche that you can carve out for yourself. The absolute go-to person for creating a book for a small business owner, for being a forward-thinking accountant who's going to help small business owners to understand their tax stuff better, to be the single best photographer out there, to be the go-to provider of children's dance classes, whatever it is, right? You want to be known as that person. That's what you want to be famous for, yeah? I want to be famous for, and I kind of like to think I am to a certain extent, but I could only be more famous. Absolutely known as the go-to business support person for, oh my God, it would help if I could actually get the sentence out, right? I want to be, this is the time when you kind of wish that you heavily edited your podcast, right? So when you say something and the sentence just doesn't even make any sense, it would I sometimes wish I was more heavily edited, but I never edit it gets edited for sound quality and all that, but nothing ever gets cut out of these podcasts. And the reason that I do it is, again, part of my niche, right? Is that I sometimes don't finish my sentences because my ADHD is gone off in a different direction, and I'm really aware that I do that. I am an R through things. I'm talking about something and sometimes something else pops into my head and there's a tangent we go off on, and sometimes I'm saying something and I cannot remember the blooming word that I was looking for, right? Or I say a sentence that makes no sense. But the reason that all that gets left in, and this is another really important kind of business lesson for you, is that you don't have to be polished and perfect. Yeah, it's never made a single difference to me and my earning potential or actual earnings. Because if my podcast was edited to have none of those weird pauses and things when I can't think how to finish that particular sentence, then, and if I worked with you, you'd think, well, what? She's lost her shit now in front of her. So everything has to be real. And that's absolutely part of my niche, right? And I think it's really important to be kind of open and transparent like that, because I think it makes a difference. I think it adds an element of reassurance that if I can do it with all the hot mess that I am, you could sure as hell you can do it, right? And so that's kind of that's the reason for that, and it's always part of the niching. And you can't change who you are, and nor would you want to. Absolutely, nor would you want to. So being comfortable and confident in the way that you do things, it's great, because that's the way you do things, right? Somebody else might be super shiny polished and wear actual shoes and not just their slippers when they're doing their work. But if it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. There's more important things to spend your time worrying about than that. So what was the point of me going off on that tangent? You see, I've no idea. So what do you want to be known for? That's my question for you. Really importantly, what lights you up? Yeah, you could say that you want to be known for something, but it's like, you want to be known as the best wedding photographer in the land. But actually, what you really like is spending a lot more time with business owners and taking their brand photos, because weddings come with, all sorts of different things that give you bits of headache, and you don't want to work at weekends. Okay, so don't do it. You're absolutely in control of what it is that you want to do. Yeah. So my niche, and this was what I was going to say before I forgot what I was going to say, but my niche, what I want to be known for, is absolutely the go-to person for business advice and guidance, with nothing being off limits, nothing being a silly question, and total transparency, total honesty, and with a focus on growth in the easiest and simplest possible way, right? That's me. That's what you're going to get from working with me. Not going to get you to £1 million business. Not going to teach you sales tactics. These things are not me. And knowing what you're not as well is absolutely part of it, right? So what do you want to be known for? How do you, what lights you up? So how can you deliver that? Yeah. And how can you niche down in terms of what your offering is, so that it's absolutely bang tidy for you? It's absolutely spot on for what you want to deliver. And as you know, my journey has, in the end of 2023 into 2024, has taken a different turn, right? Because I always do these exercises myself, the ones that I talk to you about, and the ones that I do with my clients, I go through with my clients. Absolutely. So it's, I know what I want to be known for, and I know what I like helping people with, but what's my vehicle for doing that? What's the way that I really like delivering it? And I know that I like short, sharp bursts of work. I like to be really intensive with people, and then they go away and do it, and that's I've done my bit. Yeah, that's what I really, really like doing. It's why I've always liked training, from thousands of training courses over the years, and I really like doing that, because you kind of go in, you do your brilliant delivery, and you go away again, and that's what I enjoy. So that's why in 2024, I'm not taking on any new one-to-one clients. I have some amazing clients who I continue to work with, and that's great, but I'm not taking on any others. And instead, I'm focusing on my in-person mastermind days. There's one every month. They're at my house, because that also suits me. Everybody else gets a day out, right? They get to go to somewhere different. I don't have to go anywhere. And that really, really suits me. And that's okay. That's my niche, right? Masterminds at my house. Fine, come to my house. Whatever, it makes me clean it. And I'm grateful for everybody who comes, because my house is clean because of you. So, there's kind of reasons for everything. And if you understand these reasons and you ask yourself these questions, then niching, this is all part of your niching, right? And this makes it easier. And it's okay to stop doing things that no longer serve you, or you don't enjoy the same, they don't light you up. And the less you do, the more famous you will become. Yes? So if you think of people, I don't know, let's think of Madonna, okay? She has, no, yes, let's think of Madonna. She's been in films. She's produced films, I think, or directed films. She's had multiple books. But what do we know her for? She's a singer, right? She's a singer. That's what she's known for. That's what she is. She sings and performs. So she's famous for that. But then she's got there's other stuff bubbling around, but that's not what you're famous for. It's like you get famous for one thing and then you have sort of the byproducts, if you like, that you can deliver. And that's almost like the fun stuff that you can make up on the, just kind of make up when you feel like it. But you've got to get famous for one thing. So the less you do, the more famous you will become, which is exactly why I'm focusing on in-person mastermind days. One day at my house, handful of other business owners. That's it. One a month at my house in Chesterfield. That's it, right? That's my focus. And so I'm going to get known for those this year. And the other two things, because whilst you focus on one thing, right, that's the work that you can pay me for. The other things, this podcast, absolutely want to get known for this podcast, and my book, Life in Business, available on Amazon, on Kindle and in paperback. It's, they're kind of my, let's compare me to Madonna for a minute. But, I'm not a singer. Good Lord, no. I do love a bit of karaoke, but no. But, my business masterminds, that's my equivalent of her singing. And then the podcast is her, is her, I don't know, perfume. Does she have perfume? I don't know, but is a perfume. And the book is a book, right? So you see, if you've got kind of your one thing, then other things like spider leg off it. And it's so much better to do it like that. It means that if you niche down to kind of the bare bones of what it is that you offer and deliver that in a way that makes you happy, it is so much easier to market that, and it's so much easier for people to know what to buy from you. And what happens is, if someone doesn't want to buy the thing that you're selling, like for example, if somebody doesn't want to come on one of my mastermind days, I mean, why would you not? But some people would. Then there's still a door there that people can message you and say, do you know what? This doesn't fit, but could I do this? Oh, of course you can. You can do a VIP day. Yeah, I'll work with you for a couple of hours. You can kind of flex and choose, but that's them making the choice to do something, to do something that suits them, to ask you if you can do something that suits them. And it's entirely your choice as to whether you go, do you know what, that might be fun, I'll do that. Yeah. But it's not stuff you market. And that's the real kind of beauty and simplicity of this niching down. The thing you market is the one thing. And you keep talking about it over and over and over again. And that's how you get famous for stuff. I just needed to take a drink of water then. I'm sorry. So niche down on what it is that you do. And that will kind of bring about the niching of the people as well. I mean, you need to know roughly like who your ideal client is. So for me, I work with more women than men, but it's not exclusively, but I do work with far more women. They're small business owners, generally speaking, 5 people and under. I don't work with big corporates, not interested in that. That's fine. Exclude all that. Often solopreneurs. I also work with quite a lot of franchise owners, franchisors. So it by knowing who you like to work with, your language is naturally kind of engaging with those people, because that's what your client base is. So anything you're talking about, your experiences with this certain group, certain kind of type of people. And that's kind of all part of the niche. So nobody who works in a big corporate is going to think really about me being their first choice, because my language is not right. I don't talk about, billion-dollar deals. I don't talk about leadership qualities, all this stuff that might kind of work more with a corporate. It isn't stuff I talk about. So you, rather than focusing your niching on, talking exactly to the ideal client, you're niching by what you offer and who you are. Do you see the difference? It's a really kind of subtle difference, but I think it's a much easier way of niching down and of creating, a sort of fan base, right? Which, sounds a bit weird and uncomfortable to say, but we all have them. I'm not just talking about, your family or whoever thinks you're great, but we all have people who support us and who think that what we share is worth sharing. So everybody has it. So, fan base might not be the expression that sits well with you, but I can't think of a better one. So there you go. Let's all have raving fans. Why should we not have raving fans? But niching down doesn't have to be about your audience, right? Your audience matters enormously because they're the reason you're able to exist and be in business, because they're the people who end up becoming clients. But the niching doesn't have to be about them. The niching can come from you, yeah? And they will follow you along. Remember as well that there are people out there for everyone, right? I don't care how niche you are. I don't care if your niche is tarot readings in Swahili at midnight on a Tuesday is the only time you do it. There is someone who that will appeal to, right? Absolutely. There's somebody out there for everybody. There's a niche, there's an audience, there's a client base out there for everybody. So never worry about being too specific in what you're saying or doing or you believe yourself, because I don't know how many people are on the planet, but quite a lot, right? So you only need one, and then you need another one, and then you need another one, and then you need another one, but it's one and one and one and one. It's not, you don't need hundreds and hundreds of people immediately. You need one, okay? And then you need another one. So there's plenty of people out there. So for me, podcast, really super important. Thank you for listening. If you want to write a review, by the way, that would be fab. Love a good review. Not a bad review. Love a good review. My book, really super important. Those are two things I'll continue to talk about for, I don't know, ever, maybe. And then if you want to work with me, come on a mastermind day. Don't want to come on a mastermind day? Message me and say, do you know what I'd really like is this? And I'll go, yeah, okay, or nah, I'm not doing that. Then that's where we'll be, right? That's how we will develop our relationship. So that's the way for you to approach this. So what can you cut out of what you're doing already? How can you streamline your services so that you're famous for one thing? And how can you niche it down so it's something that you really, really enjoy doing and enjoy offering? Because if you're not having fun in your business, please go and get a job or come see me and I'll help you change it all. But yeah, it's got to be fun. You've got to enjoy it. And you're in control of all this. You can do what the blooming heck you like, right? There are no right and wrong things. The only rules are you've got to pay your tax. You've got to be legal in what it is that you offer. But there's no rules. There's just no rules. Your business can look and feel and be however you want it to be. And that's just phenomenal. It's the biggest game that you can ever play. It's just absolutely magical. It's like the epitome of the choose your own adventure books, right? That we're about. When we're kids, you can just do anything you want. And that's your niche. That's you on your journey, doing the things that you want to do. And that is pretty flipping fantastic, if you ask me. So, how can you niche down to grow your business? You can cut stuff out. You can be more you. You can do what you really want to do. You can offer less. You can focus on one thing. You can grow one person at a time. You can be as weird and as wacky or as, straight-laced and stoic as you want to be, right? It's entirely up to you. As long as you're being true to yourself and you really believe in what you're doing, that's really, really important. But by embracing more of you, you're going to niche more and you're going to grow more. And it's going to be really flipping easy as well. And that's what we want. We want you to work less. We want you to earn more, and we want you to embrace true happiness. That's literally the title, the subtitle of my book, Life in Business. And I do absolutely firmly believe that that's the way to have a business. So thanks for joining me today. It's been good episode this. It's been lots of fun. Let me know, as ever, feedback to me what you think. Tell me what it is that you're not going to do anymore and how you're going to niche. And I'll very much look forward to hearing from you. So I'm going to see you next week, and happy thinking, because I know this always brings stuff up for you. So happy niching. I'll see you next time.